18 games in 18 days. The NAB Challenge comes to a close tomorrow night live. It'll be the Saints taking on the GWS Giants. So both teams looking for their first win in the NAB Challenge, both having new coaches looking for their first win as well. So 18 games will be finished tomorrow. And what a great intro into the season it is. The season proper, not too far away. Let's get to ground level with Barry Hall with a score at 32-point margin to Geelong.
Yeah, thanks, Matty. Well, look, we've seen a few turnovers from Melbourne, and it's a really bad breeze here, and there's been a few skill errors. But knowing Paul Roos and how he coaches, he'll be backing his players to still try and make these tough decisions, still take the game on. As I said, there's a really tough breeze, and there's a lot of turnovers in the back half. It's cost them goals, there's no doubt about that. But I reckon Paul Roos will be telling them to really clean up on those skill errors. Try not to kick into the breeze too much. Still back yourself, still back your league. As we're going to see here, this is just a skill error, and it has cost them goals. It's nearly cost them 4 or 5 goals in the end. But Paul Roos will continue to tell them to take the game on. Let's clean up on the skill errors. Let's get the decision making right. But he'll certainly, that's his coach's style, Paul Roos. He'll certainly back his players.
I think Barry's right. 4 or 5 goals, and the margin's 32 points. We'd have a competitive game.
And I think that's what he's saying to the players now. Your effort's been good. You've won the ball. We've had a hell of a lot more than the opposition, but we're just giving it away far too much. Treat it like a bag of gold. Just don't hand it to Geelong, because, you know, Geelong kicked 14 goals, 93. There's about 8 goals scored from turnovers when Melbourne had the ball first. So interested to see how they finish.
You said something that was very important in that third quarter too, I think. But what Paul Roos will find out while he's playing this game plan, and it's good you're trying to teach him to play the right. He'll find out the blokes that can kick.
Yep.
And he'll find out the blokes that can't kick, and he'll start playing the blokes that he can trust to implement the plan better.
No, and that's what the art of coaching is, and you know,
and the art of recruiting as well.
Recruiting, and interesting, you know, the recruits need to sit in the box with Paul Roos just to get his line of thinking and what he values as a coach.
Jesse Hogan's been impressive. Jason, you've liked what you've seen with Jesse?
I have. Look, he's only had the 10 possessions, but he's had 7 marks. He leads up, he presents well, got a good pair of hands. We saw him with a set shot that looked an interesting technique, but he kicked the goal from directly in front, which was very, very good. I think he's going to get better and better. Look, wait till he's played 50 games. Yeah. What's he going to be like?
It's interesting with the possession game they play. He's had to be drawn up around the wing to get 6 of those 7 marks. He's only taken the 1 mark inside the forward 50. That hasn't been his fault. It's been the style of play.
So we're getting set for the final quarter. We should mention that most of the scoring has been done to the end that Melbourne are kicking at. 16 of the 23 goals have come to the left of screen. So they do have a slight advantage with this tricky wind. So can they come home like they did in the second quarter? We'll go again with the bounce. Tyson's done some really good things in close. To cross to Shannon Burns, caught on his wrong side. But there's the backup running from Tyson to get involved again. He's got to shrug the tackle. Vince had a quiet third term. Numbers went out for Geelong. Now Stevie J goes to Guthrie wider in turn. Smets just the 15 metres to Hall and Smith. Chipped it to Johnson. They maintain possession. A long way from goal though.
He'll be looking for a pass. Was a defender.
And hooks it into the pocket. He was hoping for Caddy one-on-one, who recovers quickly. Gets on his right boot, screws it around the corner. Just across the front. It looked like a goal. It looked like it was going to carry through. I think Caddy thought halfway in travel that it was going through.
All the Melbourne defence had to be aware that he was just going to chip the ball somewhere, Stevie J.
And short kick sideways from the kick into McDonald. Down the line he goes, and the percentage was that if no one took it, it would be a boundary throw-in.
Very good job with Tommy Hawkins, Tom McDonald. Hawkins has had the 13 disposals. He's worked hard, but he's only taken the 1 mark.
Yeah, I think that's the key. There's been a couple of marking contests where he's managed to get the fist of the ball. Spencer down in front. Tyson again. Or Nathan Jones. Indecisive.
Well, he was, because you see the top of the screen there, Smets and Harry Taylor were working extremely hard. You can see Jones looking
He didn't
up.
want to kick it, did he?
Well, he couldn't. It would have went straight to 2 Geelong players. Good defensive set up there from the Cats.
Simpson. Watts trapped it well.
I think he's been okay, Jack Watts, tonight. It's been interesting. You know, he's had 16 possessions, played mostly on a wing, and I reckon that's probably the position that he's best suited to, because he does run well for a big bloke. He can mark, so he should be able to drift behind the footy and push forward when needed.
Well, chip kick from Burns. Good jump from Howe. He's got the best jump in the game.
Hogan 1-on-1.
And he puts it up.
That'll work.
Just not
just
enough
held
on
up.
it.
Look, it was extremely well manning the mark from Jared Rivers. You could see Rivers didn't want him letting play because he knew that Hogan had a 1-on-1 down there. Good, that's a good kick.
There was. It was the difference between Geelong and Melbourne, that kick, wasn't it? It found its target. Hunt, a short one. Smets cruising by. Off the outside of the boot, that one. And tap back by Nicholson to Nathan Jones. He's got to call out the back from Turlick. He's got to back himself to take on McCarthy and beat him, and he does. Now, can he hit a target in the middle? That man is Watts. Waiting for him to take it on the chest. Switch. And they've got loose men. One of them is Blees. And further down the line, good vision. He spots Cross.
Play on.
Long kick.
Hogan is in the square. It's a chance now. Pops it up. Over the back. Who's going to be first to it? Jesse Hogan's there. Beaten by the post of the line.
Well, he's disappointed that he didn't actually take the mark, because he found himself in a good spot. But they're the opportunities Melbourne need to create, because there's no quick rebound. It's the kick over the top, you give your forwards a chance, then you also get a chance to set up defensively.
It was extremely well done by Josh Walker there, just to take his run though, without giving a free kick away. He got back and took his space. So, as a young defender, Walker, that was an extremely good effort there.
Dunn was a little bit lucky there. It was almost 50 metres. It was a nice mark from Mitch Brown, who's the leading goal kicker for the game.
When you talk about Josh Walker, he's also one of those that's tried up forward as well, Spud.
Hawkins recovers by hand. And the kick
Baz,
from Bartel is out.
Jesse Hogan as a forward from ground level. What have you liked about his game tonight?
Well, he's a great presenter. He just keeps presenting at the footy. He's obviously a big frame. He's a big unit. There's no doubt about that. But he just keeps, his work rate's been great. And he just keeps presenting at the footy. That's exactly what you want as a coach from a young player, young key forwards. That's how you get yourself in the game. Work rate and just presenting at the footy, which he's done tonight.
Jeremy Howe almost just a regulation mark for him.
You get excited every time he approaches a pack, don't you?
Yep.
You know what he's capable of.
Kelly squares it up. Spoil again was a good one from McDonald.
Yeah, he's been terrific.
Trengove caught. Vince likewise. Boot to ball, and luckily for him, it falls to Big Spencer. Just go and chip it down the line. Want to be careful because the breeze takes it. So not much happening on the scoreboard so far in this final quarter. It's still the Cats by 32. No possession there for Johnson. He's going to chip it wider to Lonergan, who just came on. So too did Travis Varco. Good hit. That's a beautiful pass, isn't it? And the recipient is young Hamling. Joel Hamling. So we haven't seen a lot of Hamlin so far tonight.
One thing we do know, he's fast. Yeah, he's fast and agile. And
kicks from outside 50, and he just sets it up. It was a disciplined kick. Wanted a big jump, but he got one from Guthrie, but not quite. Toumpas under pressure. So too Cross. And Blees will run it over.
It's interesting. You've got Hawkins, you've got Taylor, you've got Blitzarves down there, and it's Guthrie that goes to big hanger.
Spencer knocked it down in front. Varco was at it first.
he's going to be a good utility Blitzarves, isn't he? You know, with Hamish McIntosh, obviously Vardy out. Played a lot in the ruck last year. He started on the wing tonight, a little bit down back. Obviously, he's going to be one of those players that is going to play a fair bit of game time in the ruck. If there's a few injuries to their ruck stocks.
Yep. Johnson gives it to that man Blitzarves. Kelly off a standing start.
Good give.
Right to the top of the square. A dangerous kick in, but it's pushed through for a rush behind.
Well, the questions before the game for me, boys, was there's a lot of stars out in their forward line. You've got Christensen, you've got Podsiadly that's gone to Adelaide, you've got Modlop as well, you've got Vardy that's out. There's 110 goals out of your side, and they're not going to play round one. So the question was, who's going to step up? I think Mitch Brown's done a fantastic job. He's kicked 3 goals.
Yep.
He's had 10 possessions, has 6 marks. He's done everything he's needed to do. So the question's been answered for me. Mitch Brown's been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree, Baz, and I think he's got the front running. They've said that all through pre-season, that he's the one that showed the best form on the track, and if he puts performances like tonight's together, I think he's a walk-up start for round one.
Well, he's probably at that age now he needs to do something anyway. He's been in the system now for 3 or 4 years. He's 23. He's only played the 10 games, 5 last year.
So from the throw-in, Spencer down in front. Bartel is there. Right with him over the top is Tyson.
Podsiadly obviously has gone to Adelaide, so the opportunity has opened up, and he was probably the player that was keeping him out.
Kelly again. Getting plenty on the...
Well done, McDonald.
Yeah, he reads the play well.
Yeah, he's done well, but they're still going here, Geelong. McCarthy can't pick it up. McDonald back in to help out. Quick hands required. A little bit too fierce for Dunn. And Duncan comes in and gets done.
The thing about Tom McDonald, he just gives you an honest contest. You know, be one of the first players that Paul Roos would look at and, you know, week in, week out, right, we can put him on a tall forward. You know, if there's someone that can run up the ground like a Nick Grewald, he's got a massive motor, he can run all day. He's very quick off the mark.
Goals have just dried up here. Going 9 minutes so far in this quarter. Just behind for the Cats, and here's a chance for Bartel. He wanted Hawkins, and eventually Tom's going to, he's going to outmark him eventually, but McDonald's done pretty well. He's just too strong there.
Yeah, good strength battle. Just held his position. McDonald pushed as hard as he could, but he's a big unit, Tom Hawkins. And if you give him enough opportunities, he's going to start clunking them like that.
There's Bartel with plenty of time.
Terrific mark.
We've been impressed by the set shot kicking from both teams tonight. They've worked the breeze out, as Jason mentioned. And this from about inside 40 metres. Kick it from about 35. Start at the left-hand post, and it'll push through. Oh, he hooked it.
He bent it against the breeze. It was a poor ball drop.
He's just looking at it. How did that happen?
He's looking at that as well.
Reverse swing.
No, it wasn't a clean strike, though. It was a pretty messy ball drop.
He looks to be moving well, though. You know, chronic back injury last year, and he just wasn't himself, and it was put on the public record. He was playing with a back injury.
Back problem, yeah.
He looks to be moving well.
Oh, wow.
It's a poor kick from Tyson. There's one of those monumental turnovers we've seen tonight. Varco to Kelly. Steps inside, wants to find a man, and he couldn't. It's cut off by Mitchie. Oh, that's not good. It's turnover capital city here at the moment. Blitzarves to Guthrie, and it's happened again. Please do not adjust your set. Just, working things out with this breeze. McKenzie. Grimes. Blees presents. And then sliding in is Nathan Jones.
One concern I've had with a little bit of their possession footy is the one where they automatically just kick backwards and to a pocket, which actually doesn't help you with your next option. It closes off the oval for you. It's not a possession that's going to give you any advantage, and I just think they need to cut a few of those out.
There's probably been 2 of them. Definitely ended in goals.
Yeah.
So one at the end of the third and one at the second.
Loose player, Jeremy Howe.
Cross, can think about it, or go to Mitchie. And Mitchie's got to beat 2 here, and he does. He trapped it well.
Stevie J tried to kick it off the ground.
And he can recover and kick a goal first for the last quarter. Mitchie gets it.
I'll tell you what, Daniel Cross got out of jail. He had 2 loose players. Well, Jeremy Howe was definitely clear for the little chip kick. He tried to hit Mitchie, but the ball, you could see there, he just had to stop and prop. That allowed Kelly to get back and spoil. And then they had the chance to clear it. You could see Howe in the goal square waiting and waiting. But a terrific job by Viv Mitchie, and he's had an interesting journey as well, Spade.
Yeah, he has. I think Oakley Chargers from memory. Recruited in 2010, picked 44. That's right, went to Fremantle. Had a lot of injuries. Played all season last year with Peel Thunder. Won the best and fairest there. And obviously got to trade to Melbourne in exchange for pick 54. And obviously, he's back home. He's happy.
He's been pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I think he's been very good.
17 possessions.
Played his only game against Geelong.
Kicked 2 goals there.
Yep.
Maybe they're his bunnies.
Yep. Caddy has Johnson looking to atone for that last one.
Good wheels.
And he just missed the target. Missed a few in this last quarter. Took the tackle on there. Want to be careful. Nicholson. Joel Selwood. There's the strapping on the right hamstring. Caddy with time. Too much on the kick and the turnover again. This time it's Jeremy Howe. We've had about 4 turnovers in a row, just in the middle of the ground, just there.
Spud, how do you view the D's performance tonight? There's a lot of talk last week about their good performance. How do you view it tonight? Does it detract from it any at all?
No, not for mine, Baz. I think they've got a definite plan there, and they've just got to execute that plan a little bit better. They've got to pull the trigger a little bit better, quicker around this area, and polish this area up. I reckon the 50-metre arc in the defence for Melbourne at the moment is where they've turned most of the ball over. So at some stage, when they get a Mitch Clark and a Dawes and a Hogan, they'll be able to go the long one down the line a little bit more. But tonight they haven't been able to do that because of the tools. But I've really liked the plan that Paul Roos and the Melbourne coaching staff are trying to put in place. It's just the execution that have really hurt them on the scoreboard tonight.
Geelong work it out and share it. Smet's got it from Simpson and he switches it to Hunt. Short for the lead up the middle to Bartel.
I think a few too many Melbourne players get caught close to one another. We just saw there the long kick goes over the back. Geelong have got 4 or 5 loose players sweeping out the back. So where are their Melbourne opponents? They're all around the middle of the ground, but they're not working hard enough to separate and make space and give options to kick to. They're too close to each other, crowding up other players that could be used, and that forces the player to kick long down the line to superior Geelong numbers.
It's fair to say this last 5 minutes, both sides are nearly not put the cue in the rack, but there's not a lot of hard gut running now. And look, it's been warm.
Yep.
It's a high possession game of football now. I don't think we're going to see too many more contests with less than 9 minutes left in the clock.
He's lost the boot, Stevie, so he's going to kick it with a sock.
He can do anything, doesn't matter. Still got perfect drop punt there. Bartel caught, good tackle. Came from Clisby. Grimes. Yeah. Just goes to ground. He knew that he didn't have pro opportunity, so it'll be a ball up. Got a tough draw early.
Adelaide at home, they'll enjoy the first home game, and then Brisbane. I don't think they'll have too many problems there. Then it gets very interesting, doesn't it? Collingwood, West Coast, Hawthorn.
Tough.
Very tough.
Brisbane's first home game, new coach. It's always keen to put a good score on the board.
With big games too, big crowds. Collingwood, Hawthorn, they're crackers.
With injuries in mind, how many can they squeeze out of that first 5 games?
I reckon they get
win at least 3 of them.
Yeah, if they get 3 out of 5, Baz, with the injuries they've got to a lot of their key half forwards, and it'll be a good result.
High ball in, courage needed.
And don't be surprised if they win 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think 4. Bale turns around, looks to the outside. Here's a loose man for you.
Good running from Jack Watts.
Yeah, he's just took off to that zone.
Howe's running hard.
And Jeremy Howe's next.
He's got a Taylor Hunt on him.
Yeah, he got rid of Hunt.
Oh, well
he didn't really. He just tried to edge him under it, and Hunt got 2 hands on it. Howe tried to square it like a soccer kick. Now he tries to tap it back. They want it to go out here, Melbourne, so they can set up, and Geelong wanted to keep it in, and they did. Thurlow. Holland Smith, Litzarves in the middle. Bartel covered quickly, going to McCarthy.
Nobody forward.
No. It sits from McDonald. He gets a nice shepherd from Dunn. And the next long kick is the one they want, because Cross can now keep moving rather than stopping. Or he does stop.
Well, there's nothing down the line. That's the problem.
Disposal 28 for Daniel Cross.
Yeah, they've had some big disposal winners in Cross and Tyson and Vince.
So that's a good kick. It's a really good kick. That opens up the ground for them.
And I think the fact that they need to take the game on, just the balance of that, because you have a look at the discrepancy in the inside 50s. Melbourne have had 70 more disposals.
Look at this.
But yet they've only got him 26 times to Geelong's 59.
Nathan Jones for 9 points, but they've kicked a couple. Melbourne, is this their third? It is. 3 9-pointers, super goals for Melbourne. And that's Nathan Jones with a smile on his face. And they get it to within 19 points. Who knows?
Well, when they get it in there, they're dangerous, Matty, because 27 inside 50s normally not going to win you too many games of footy.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. But the positive of that, they've kicked 3 super goals and 8, so it's kicked 11 goals, 2. So they've had the 13 scoring shots, so they've looked really dangerous when they've got in there. They've been patient. They're still in it.
Well, on the scoreboard, it's 13 scoring shots to 26. But for some reason, another 9-pointer makes it interesting.
It does.
Isn't it amazing you can have 74 more possessions and yet have less than half the inside 50s?
Yeah, they're 32 down on the inside 50s.
And that just shows you how much they've mucked around with it down back.
Vince trying to get something happening. Nathan Jones again. It's a good kick. Spencer, can he trap it? No, he can't. And Simpson just took him out to allow Smets to come through. Bartel. And well read, just going front and square to pick up that crumb was Clisby. And that's the kick you want to see.
Yeah.
Low and hard. Shannon Burns, little chip to Vince. Going nowhere there though. Again, they maintain possession. Plenty of it. Over the 400 now.
See, that's the kick that just doesn't help.
No, that's just close everything up. Geelong know what to do from here.
Steady game from the co-captain, Jack Grimes. He's going 100%. So every disposal's hit the target. And
Except for that one.
There you go.
Bartel with the turnover. Good smother. Stevie J, good vision. Over to Brown. He's in 9-point range, but it's a long kick. He's been kicking well. It's a disciplined kick to the advantage of Hawkins, who put the body on. McDonald got the fist to it. Dunn comes through, takes the tackle. Vince there to help out, and he barrels one out. Oh, Jansen. Could have been a problem there, but well taken by Hogan.
Good attack from Hogan.
McKenzie. How will it bounce? Not that well for Lonergan, but he just paddled it over towards Rivers.
A good tackle,
Howe kept going. Just a little bit of pressure for the Geelong defence, but they're equal to it.
Stand up, you two. Umpire just talking to Jeremy Howe and Jared Rivers, former teammates.
Caddy draws the man. He didn't draw him well enough. Gets it back. Low ball towards Johnson, trying to put it down in front. Turlick, Caddy again.
Well butted up.
And he did well to get it to Johnson, who draws his man. Puts it tight on the boundary. Hamling floated it to the goal square.
That's really good play from Josh Caddy. He covered errant executions, but he didn't worry about the disposal wasn't great. He butted it up and worked forward. He's had 27 disposals, 7 inside 50s for Josh.
Here's Hamling again. Couldn't take it. Hogan can. Dunn, Mitchie, Spencer. Melbourne haven't given up. But there's only 4 minutes remaining. Spencer the knock. Barry. Mitchie. And they're going to have to go the other way. It's Clisby who gets it from Vince. Daniel Cross tries to spread, but it's where they've been dangerous. They've given this away a couple of times. They've worked it out. Matt Jones. Watts ran hard. He's got it. A couple in the middle to pick from. Instead, he gets some running from Burns.
Yeah, I like Jack Watts in the wing.
Excellent running from Daniel Cross. He just got out of there so Watts could run into that hole.
He does work hard, doesn't he, Daniel Cross?
Bale. He spots a man. He's got a Tringo.
They've done it really well tonight, Geelong. They've guarded the dangerous space to lead into, and they've been able to get a fist on it.
They've got a chance to get themselves on the board early, Melbourne. That's not a bad start. St Kilda, West Coast in Melbourne, GWS, Carlton and Gold Coast. It's a nice, attractive draw for a team that's improving, that can actually sit there and say, you know what, we can win 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah, it's a good draw.
Yeah, and both new coaches, St Kilda and Melbourne, that round one's going to be a cracker, because St Kilda, unfortunately, the last couple of days have lost Jack Stevens for 10 weeks.
That's going to hurt, isn't it?
And Montagna, I'm led to believe, has got a week suspension carrying over from last year.
Yep.
So Nathan Jones won the free kick, and he will get the margin to 14. If he kicks straight, 25 metres out. Certainly does that. Melbourne refused to give up. Another goal from him. He kicked the 9-pointer not too long ago, so he's got 2 in the final quarter. A little bit of a giggle and a laugh there from Stevie J. Just enjoys his footy.
Well, again, 29 entries, 12 goals, 2. That is, 3 of those have been super goals, obviously, but that is great efficiency. You get your entries up to 45, 50, and you still have that efficiency going forward when you kick goals. The free kick was definitely there.
You reckon it was definitely there?
It was there?
I reckon he just dropped his knees and went straight to ground, and that drew the high contact. I'd be very happy to see that call play on.
He definitely did that. Can they kick 2 goals in 2.5 minutes? About time you blokes disagreed. I've been sitting here for 3 hours. You haven't disagreed enough, apart from the notes you write each other on the paper. Can they do it? A quick super goal.
Still time.
Well, they need to be clean, though.
It's only 2 kicks.
I might get Barry Hall under Jace, because he went to the gym before the game today, Matty, and I'll tell you what.
Still got it?
Chucking some iron around.
Well, I had the 8.5 kilo dumbbells working. I looked over at Baz, and he had the 135 kg just punching out a lazy 8 reps.
On the bench press?
Yeah.
Making it look like corrugated
Pounds of
iron.
butter.
Chucking it around.
Yeah.
Daniel Cross is in there, and Geelong might... Well, they're beaten to it by Burns.
Right, got to go quick now, Melbourne. Well done.
That's a mark to watch.
Yeah. He's a good get-out kick for the defence, isn't he? Because he's tall.
I think the wing's the right spot for him, and I like this kick too.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick just nudged under the ball.
Used the body.
Here comes Lonergan. Fitzpatrick, 9-pointer.
It
How
runs.
a bounce. Will it be the miracle bounce? It's not. The ball didn't read the script.
That would have set up a perfect climax, wouldn't it?
Let's take a look from reverse angle, see how close he was. Off the boot, he thought maybe.
Oh, it actually looked good and took a right-hand turn.
It was going straight through the middle.
Unlucky.
I think right there it illustrates the size of Fitzpatrick and the speed he's got.
Yeah.
He's got unbelievable speed for a big man.
Still a chance here, Melbourne, through Dunn. But it goes into the pocket and goes too far for Fitzpatrick this time. Hunt to kick in. He's just going to set it up and let someone have a jump at it. Over the back it goes. Nicholson will handle straight to Dawson
Strange
Simpson.
handball, that one.
Just when you needed him to bang it back in for a 9-pointer, he gives it straight up, and now Varco, no one really to kick to. Blocks did well again. Got rid of Rivers. Nicholson. Back to Grimes. Ryder. And turn to Barry.
It's his first kick.
And missed his target in Trengove inside the last minute.
A couple of handballs. Hasn't played a lot of games, huh?
No. So Melbourne winning their first NAB challenge by 14 points against Richmond. At the moment they're down by 13, so similar result.
Well, I think at the start of the game, if you looked at the scoreline, 84 to 97, I think the Melbourne supporters would be very happy with that, Matty.
Yeah, I think so. Might have one more to come here, though. Nicholson.
And the beauty of it, there's a lot to work on.
Yeah.
There's a lot to improve. It's been a huge improvement from last year, but there's a lot to improve even on tonight's game.
Just missing too many targets like that last kick then. I mean, it's a simple little hit-up lead over his head.
Holding the ball against Fitzpatrick after all of that. And just quite happy to play out time here, the Cats. They've come to Alice Springs. They've done the job. No points up for grabs, but they've done the job and won the game by 13 points. A couple of stories to come from it. Certainly Joel Selwood.
That's the big one, Matty.
Didn't last long. He had a hamstring problem. He was walking around okay, and it wasn't straight on ice, so that would suggest that it's not a serious hamstring, but still, it has to be managed and looked at. And
Hamish McIntosh there getting through
46 minutes.
46 minutes of play, so the first time since round 7 2012, and yeah, a lot to like about both teams. Some emerging youngsters. We know Melbourne, but Geelong for mine, Josh Caddy, George Holland-Smith was terrific. Varco looks like he's back to his good fitness, and of course the depth in the Melbourne midfield.
Yeah, Melbourne did get plenty of the ball, and they've got to work on their execution, as Jason has mentioned a few times. But
well, it was 444 possessions for 350, but only half the inside 50, so they've got to find a better way to use it. Let's head down onto the ground with Barry Hall.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Well, Stevie, it's not a bad start to the season. You've had two pretty close fought wins.
Yeah, we have. There's a lot of things we need to improve on after the Collingwood win a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, Melbourne took it right up to us. They're a side on the improve for sure under Ruzi. And yeah, in that second half, it was good that our young players stood up and slugged it out. It's always nice to win.
So you spoke about you want to improve. What was the main focus coming here today?
Probably our contested ball. I think we've prided ourselves on being good at it over the journey, but last year it slipped away a bit, and we've got some young guys that are working really hard in the contest, and we want to make that our focus going into this season. And
yourself, you got a fair bit of the footy. I think you got 39 possessions, which is a pretty decent day. But where do you see yourself? Where's the plan for Stevie J in 2014? You're going to play half-back? You're going to play forward predominantly?
I won't be too much half-back, Baz, but yeah, probably a mix between the midfield and forward line. I played more through the midfield last year and really enjoyed it, but you need a lot of numbers to go through the midfield, so with the rotations, probably spend a bit more time forward, and yeah, just nice to be running around at this age.
You've done a pretty good job today, mate. Well done.
Cheers, Baz. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, amazingly, he finds himself at the top of the disposal lift once again, the 30-year-old. But yeah, he's picked up 29 disposals. He's just such a delight to watch, really.
Well, I almost consider him a full-time midfielder.
Yeah,
after
so.
He said he played there predominantly last year, and he's just so creative. Things happen around him. We know what he can do up forward, but now he's taken that all over the ground.
Enjoyed watching Mitch Duncan play today. He's with Barry.
Thanks again, Matty. Well, it's a pretty good start for you guys. You had a pretty good game yourself. You had 22 disposals, and must be good to get some touch early.
Yeah, it is. That's probably what these games are about, getting the feel for footy again, getting the match practice in, and obviously we still love winning and trying to play the way we want to play. And
I spoke to Stevie about what you wanted to get out of today. Was Scotty happy with the performance?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. That second quarter probably wasn't great, and he come in and gave us a bit of a spray, which we probably needed. So obviously didn't play too good in that quarter, but we're just out here trying to implement our game plan that we want for the rest of the year, and hopefully that works.
And the Melbourne Footy Club, they kept coming at you. They've certainly improved for 2014, haven't they?
Yeah, they're definitely a different footy side under Ruzi, and it's got them playing a good brand of footy, and obviously it's working, and yeah, they're going to be a force to reckon with in a couple of years, I reckon.
Well done today, good job.
Thanks, mate.
Another youngster there, Matty. The Melbourne team coming off the ground, and look, it's all normally Nathan Jones. You look at the stats the last few years, you go straight to the top, Nathan Jones, but now you've got Vince with 34, Daniel Cross 32, Dyson 29, Clisby 24, and of course Nathan Jones 27. So the three guys at the beer mark, Vince, Cross and Tyson, all playing really good football.
Yeah, and they'll combine better as the year goes on. I mean, they've all come from different directions, haven't they? They've come from the Bulldogs, they've come from Adelaide, they've come from the Giants.
And Mitchie's another one. I think he's another one that's flying under the radar. A draft pick 3 years ago for Freo, going back home. And Jack Watts as well. I thought his performance on the wing, I reckon it's a really good spot for Jack Watts. He's been played up forward, played down back in the midfield, just give him the wing and let him go for it.
The Tomahawk signing some autographs. The Geelong fans that are here are getting looked after. It's been a good night for the fans. It's been a good night for Geelong. We'll take a break from TIO Traeger Park Oval. Geelong defeating Melbourne by 13 points in the NAB Challenge. It was a warm day in Alice Springs as the NAB Challenge continued its trek around the country, and this is how it unfolded tonight. Mitch Duncan made an early entry as Joel Selwood made an early exit with a bit of a hamstring problem, sat most of the day on the bench. It wasn't pretty at times, But Geelong had all the answers in the first quarter. Josh Caddy getting them on the board. But Melbourne in the second quarter, for some reason and somehow, fought their way back into the game. Bernie Vince with a 9-point play. And at halftime, they were in the cool room and they're only down by 6 points. In the third quarter, the story of the night was turnover city. As Geelong continually made Melbourne pay for their turnovers. Bartel was strong. Duncan got another one. We had some precision set shot kicking from Geelong in that third quarter. Brown with one of 3 goals for him for the night. Melbourne hung in there. Another 9-point goal, this time by Nathan Jones. Gave them a faint glimmer of hope, but it wasn't to be. In the end, Geelong had what it takes, even without their skipper, and they won by 13 points. And it was 27 scoring shots to 15. Brown 3, Duncan, Bartel, Taylor 2 apiece. Howe got a couple. There were 3 9-point goals, Jones, Mitchie and Vince. And they had plenty of possession. We should note that Melbourne had a lot of the ball, but they weren't that effective with it. 444 disposals against Geelong's 350. And I guess that's the story of the night, isn't it, Jason? It's the question of, as I knock everything over, it's a question of ball use and execution and skills.
It is. What I like about Paul Roos, though, is he's teaching Melbourne the right way to play. Rather than some coaches that have come to struggling sides and said, let's work with what we've got. Yep. He said, let's play the right way and make players learn to play the proper way and find out the ones that can do it and those that can't. As we see Joel Selwood signing a few autographs. Look,
the body language of Selwood since he came off is pretty good.
It can't be bad. Yeah. It's maybe just a slight twinge, but I expect him to be right for round one.
And he probably wouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah, I mean, he's been very positive ever since he went to the bench. He didn't put ice on it straight away, and as usual, he's out there talking to the fans.
You see him just grab it there as he goes to pull up and change direction. Just grabs the right hammy high up, but it's obviously just a minor twinge. He came straight off and didn't take any further part, but he's almost out there coaching after that.
Yeah. Well, the other story, as Spud mentioned a couple of times, was Hamish McIntosh. He made his long-awaited return. And we weren't looking for anything, were we? Just looking to see him out there and get some game time.
30 minutes. 30 minutes is a lot more than he's played the last 2 years, and he ended up playing 46. I thought he ran out of juice. He got a lot of the ball. He'll be a lot better for the run.
Yep.
No doubting that. They need him to stand up now with Vardy out for the year. So Geelong, to win the flag, they need him to stand up and play 18, 19 games.
I love the smiles from him at the end of the game. Yeah. He was happy to shake everyone's hand. He just thought, I've got through a game finally.
I'm back. Yeah, I mean, that was some good positive body language coming out of the Geelong camp.
Yep.
They played through the corridor a fair bit, more so than Melbourne, who went very wide and went back and wide.
Yeah, not only did they use the corridor, when they had the opportunity, they went long and they went quick. But at every chance they had, they'd try to come down the middle. I mean, it's easy to do when you're winning centre clearances, but there's a good kick. Coming off half-back, straight into the middle, and then through they go. It opens up for them. And then straight down the middle with the long kick over the top. So they did that very, very well on a number of occasions.
And that's why they get the 62 entries.
Yep.
Melbourne only had 31. They go short, out wide, turnover, Geelong get it, inboard, bang, and no defence can stop those turnovers.
They wouldn't let Barry in the rooms at Geelong at half-time.
Yeah, that was a big one for mine.
Dare not do it twice. Do it after the game because he's down in the rooms now.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Well, they won the game, so they're pretty happy down here. But a guy that's been out of footy a fair while, must have been good to just get out and run around.
Yeah, it was. I was felt I was going to have a heart attack early, but it's exciting. And look, it's been a long road. It's been a tough journey for the last 2 years, but it's just great to be out there playing footy again. I was excited, felt like a kid. And look, it's a start. It's only about 30 or 40 minutes to play tonight, but yeah, look, I hope it's a start of a good year ahead.
Well done. I'll hand you over to the boys.
Thank you.
Hey, Hamish, Jason Dunstall here. Congratulations on getting through your first run, mate. It was great to see, and I saw big smiles on your face afterwards. I think there was a lot of relief at getting through. But when you've missed that much footy, we know you're an incredible aerobic athlete. Did it take a while just to find your breath early? I mean, it would have been very hectic being back in the cut and thrust of competitive match play again.
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't say I'm an incredible aerobic athlete, but I certainly early I felt I was going to have a heart attack early. I was blowing, and I was just thinking, what have I got myself into here? But no, I was just it's more nervous energy than anything, and I was just excited to be out there. It's 2 years since I've played, and I've certainly missed it. I've missed the contest. I've missed playing footy, and just missed being out there playing with the boys. And look, you don't take it for granted anymore. And look, I'm going to enjoy every game I get to play for the rest of my career, and hopefully that's the start of something good this year, and I can keep my form up and play some regular footy.
Scotty said you're going to play 30 minutes. It's about 46, 50 minutes. I bet you'll sleep better tonight than you did last night, Hamish.
Yeah, look, it was a stepping stone. only 40, 50 minutes, but that's, I hope I can build on that and play some footy this year and stay injury-free.
Hamish, softly approach, of course. So how much football will you play in the next practice match?
I'll have to look at the numbers tonight, but I imagine I'd play anywhere from 60 to 70, 80 minutes around there, and as long as I pull up well, which my body feels pretty good at the moment, reassess during the week, but I'll be looking to probably double my time and get some fitness under my belt, and hopefully pushing for selection for round 1.
So what's the Geelong philosophy in terms of playing two ruckmen? We think Dawson Simpson's probably going to be the starting tap ruckman, but obviously that would work very well, you and him sharing the load.
Yeah, look, it's something I know might come to into their minds now with Nathan Vardy going out. Look, I thought Dawes played really well tonight, and our partnership worked pretty well. So hopefully, going forward, we can keep our form up and form a really good partnership and have an impact on this side. And tonight was a stepping stone, and looking forward to see what we can do this year.
Hey, Mish, appreciate your time. Great to see you playing back. I know a lot of fans around the country as relieved as you are to see you playing AFL, and good luck next week.
Thanks very much, guys.
Well done, mate.
Hamish McIntosh joining us. One word on Melbourne before we go. What's Paul Roos saying to them now?
Well, they've got promise. They've got promise, but they're making a lot of errors in their execution and decision making. So he's got something to work with, which is pleasing, I think.
Oh, it's a real positive for mine. Their game plan, you can see it there, and that's what you want as a supporter. You want to know what they're trying to do. The execution, just need to polish up on the skills.
Been a beautiful night for football here at Alice Springs, and certainly the players have enjoyed a hot night, but a game of footy where Geelong have won by 13 points. The NAB Challenge continues tomorrow. St Kilda taking on the Giants. Hope you've enjoyed the game here from Alice. On behalf of all the team, good night.
Do you ever get that feel that you can't shift, the tide that sticks around like summits in your teeth? Are there some aces up your sleeve? Have you no idea that you're in deep? I dreamt about you nearly every night this week.
This has been a Fox Footy production.